One thing I can say about Dhar Mann is that when I first started watching him years ago, I thought he was someone that I like watching because he's put out good messages about life, real life situations, marriage, regular relationships, bullies, and all of that. Yeah, those lessons sound good and everything, but ever since the strike happened last year, he's been exposed, not paying these actors and treating them like crap just because he's a big time content creator owning studios in Los Angeles. Like, I believe that one thing's for sure, there's gonna be more horrific stories about, Dhar Mann in general. But at the end of the day, I still watch his videos from time to time, but I still don't like him for who he is, though, in real life. Even though he's put out some good messages and everything, ever since he's fired those original actors.
One of the most unique reputations online. A combination of being one of the most wholesome creators while also being a cringe content factory. And with over 20 million subscribers, you most definitely know who he is with or against your will. But lots of people don't really seem to know what's behind the motivational messages. Before Dhar became an internet sensation, he had several issues with businesses going against legal protocol, very big disputes with business partners, and even being accused of defrauding the city of Oakland for tens of thousands of dollars.
Oh, wow.
Overall, Dhar has a very, very shady rise to where he is right now. So let's cut the bullshit and get right into it. Dhar Mann was born in 1984 in America after his parents immigrated from India with $7.
I didn't know he was Indian.
They settled in Oakland, California, where they saw big opportunities for the transportation industry. They founded the taxi company Friendly Cab, which ended up being the biggest taxi company in that area.
Really?
Dhar's parents were often so busy that they really didn't spend much time with him, so they showered him with money instead. Because they weren't around a lot, instead of being able to give me their time, they gave me money to do things. In order to have love and live a meaningful life, you have to have money. Now,
I find that kind of crazy that his parents would just give him money randomly instead of spending some quality time with a child. That sounds like neglection and spoiling. Like, they were just constantly spoiling this kid. Like, I don't agree with the parenting, especially if you give your child money, just money, because that's all they care about, rather than love and doing some activities in your life. You can't make this up. Like, the fact that he was given money to do whatever he wanted is ridiculous. That's not love. That's, child neglect, in my opinion.
Provided big economic benefits in Oakland. Dhar's parents also delved into the real estate business as well and ended up owning over 130 properties in Oakland. Now, these included vacant lots, commercial properties, single-family homes, etc. And this was also a very successful business venture for them, but they also engaged in very, very shady practices. Many of the properties that they purchased violated tons of safety policies to the point where they were uninhabitable, and they intentionally misled tenants that had very limited English and little money. There is a long, long list of all of the hazards that were in these homes. One of the families that even rented for them claimed that they were temporarily homeless because of the safety concerns. Over time, this caught up with the family very, very badly, and they ended up having to pay over $3.9 million to the city of Oakland. It was also revealed that Dhar's parents were very big donators to very large political figures in the area, which came under very, very big scrutiny at the time of these lawsuits. Dhar's direction in life was very heavily inspired by his parents, as he wanted to become an entrepreneur just like them. But along the way, he also inherited lots of their shady and dishonest practices as well. Following in their footsteps, Dhar got into the real estate business at 19 years old. With some hefty investment money from his parents and lots of connections in the industry, he was able to start his own company. He would purchase various properties to renovate and then would rent or sell those properties to customers. Basically what your average real estate company normally does. But just like with what his parents did, a lot of these properties were still sold in undesirable conditions. And because of this, Dhar faced some legal issues. The details of what he specifically did and what he faced is not very clear, but considering that he was doing some illegal practices and also was a newcomer in a very, very intense industry, this quickly became one of his first of many, many failures. He then founded Wealthy Cars, which was a company that would rent high-end luxury cars to buyers. This failed pretty soon after. He then founded Avenue Loans, which was a mortgage refinancing company. Now this company would help homeowners by trying to save money on their monthly payments or reduce interest rates on their mortgages. This also failed very soon after. At 26 years old with multiple failed businesses, Dhar did not know where to go next. Until one day, one of his offices was broken into by a tenant of his. Dhar saw that that tenant was secretly using the space to grow plants there. Instead of calling the cops, Dhar saw this as an opportunity, and so he decided to get into the medical industry, but before sell equipment for other growers to use. And even though Dhar had only actually seen a marijuana plant for the first time 2 years before, he saw this as a very big opportunity. Now Dhar's father was not big on this, but Dhar had the vision. He rented a warehouse from his father in Oakland and started selling hydroponic equipment, calling the company We Grow. Now even though Dhar was an experienced entrepreneur, this was a territory that he just did not know anything about. He was extremely unfamiliar with the industry. He needed someone that was experienced and would help give Dhar guidance. And that's when he was approached by Derek Peterson, an investment banker at Morgan Stanley. Now Derek was a very well-respected man on Wall Street and had quite a lot of interest in working in the medical industry. Dhar took a liking to Derek and proposed an idea. Derek would start his own company, Grow Up. His company would manufacture and sell the equipment to Dhar's company, and Dhar would then sell that equipment to other customers. Dhar and Derek would respectfully have shares in each other's companies and would profit off of each other's success. Derek liked the idea, left Morgan Stanley, and partnered with Dhar to take over the world. And they were already met with pretty quick success. Now, probably thanks to the giant warehouse that Dhar rented from his dad, the business was already getting some pretty quick recognition. In its first year, Grow Up already profited $2 million, which was
that's what's up.
Estimated $15
you gotta start somewhere, right?
$60 million market cap. That is insane for a first year. They were dominating Oakland and already planned to open up 75 more warehouses in different states. The two of them made the cover of Mother Jones magazine, and Dhar even planned on filming a reality show pilot called Hempire. Dhar was finally getting his big break and becoming rich like he knew he was destined to be. But this success was very limited. Pretty soon after, Dhar and Derek started not seeing eye to eye, and Dhar decided to slowly separate from Derek. That very same year, Derek was accusing Dhar of many shady practices, including lying to him about WeGrow's financials, not reimbursing Derek for the $50,000 that was owed to him, and also failing to employ vendors and employees. This was a fucking Hondro Ponzi scheme, for a lack of a better term.
Oh, Jesus.
Derek then sued Dhar for all of the unpaid debts. However, Dhar claimed that Derek was fabricating all of this just to get back at him for trying to slow down on their partnership. Dhar successfully countersued Derek and earned stake in Derek's company. Dhar won, but this was a very short-lived victory, because the very next year, Dhar was being charged for defrauding the city of Oakland for tens of thousands of dollars. So how did this happen? Now, at the time, Dhar was working again on a different real estate company and submitted documentation for a re-beautification program, which is basically when someone improves the aesthetics and renovates parts of the city and gets reimbursed for it. Dhar claims that he was repairing and renovating certain aspects of the city at the time. However, many of the invoices and the documents that he submitted seemed to be false. He was falsely claiming that he made renovations that were never made, and was also lying about how much money he charged on 13 different counts for defrauding the program. He was facing up to 5 years in jail, but took a plea deal. He pleaded no contest to the 5 counts and paid nearly $40,000 in fines, and was sentenced to 5 years probation. In 2021, he claims that the charges were expunged, but it's unsure. This forced Dhar Mann to close the WeGrow business, and this ruined his reputation as a businessman. Dhar was now officially at his lowest point in life. He was 30, broke, depressed, and had a horrible reputation in the media.
I mean, he did it to himself.
His biggest nightmare, being a failure. But 2014 would be the beginning for Dhar Mann's turnaround. That would be the year that he met his soon-to-be wife, Laura Avila. Together, they were looking for a new opportunity, so Dhar founded the makeup company Live Glam with only $600. Live Glam was a subscription service that would deliver monthly trendy beauty products, and this was pretty successful very quickly. And Dhar Dhar was pretty well prepared. Having content creators and influencers promote the product helped it reach the right audience. And soon enough, Dhar was rich once again. But just like every single one of his businesses, this one also had some pretty shady stuff behind it. Many people reported that after they would use their card to purchase from LiveGlam, they would notice very large charges on their credit card very soon after. Either people were secretly using this info or they had a very poor security system. And while it may have seemed coincidental, it was very coincidental for this amount of people to say the very same thing. There were also a lot of reported issues with trying to cancel subscriptions, receiving damaged products, and very bad customer service, and lots of other things as well. However, to this day, LiveGlam is still a very successful cosmetic company. He was now back on top, living the dream. And now with his new success, he had time to focus on some of his other hobbies. So he started taking dance lessons. He found an experienced dance instructor who would teach him every week. However, one day, the instructor did not show up. Dhar was confused and frustrated by the absence, so he texted the instructor. After receiving no reply, he continuously texted the instructor in a very aggressive manner. The instructor's dad responding to Dhar, letting him know that his son recently just took his own life. The news put Dhar into tears. He was ashamed and felt terrible for being so quick to anger against someone that was going through such a terrible time. It was an eye-opening moment for Dhar that really changed his perspective on life. And he now felt it was his purpose to give people that exact same epiphany. And with the money that he made from LiveGlam, he founded Dhar Mann Studios in 2018. A channel with high-quality production skits that would leave the viewer with a powerful moral message. Dhar hired an entire production team and actors to get this production going, and quickly it already gained success. One of his very first videos, Before You Take Someone for Granted, went pretty viral on Facebook. It depicted a man who starts yelling at his wife for the house being messy and barely doing anything all day, which then reveals that the mom in reality puts in a ton of work to help take care of the kids and do various chores around the house. Dhar narrates the entire video of how important it is to show appreciation for people and gives the viewers a very nice wholesome message. Even though it was one of his very first videos, it already went viral and soon translated to YouTube as well. Dhar quickly figured out how to use the algorithm to his advantage. His thumbnails with a person zoomed in face of them doing a very animated expression while also having extremely clickbaity titles such as Gold Digger Dumps Boyfriend Then Regrets Her Decision, Sister Ashamed of Her Disabled Brother, She Instantly Regrets It, Kid to Be in Charge for 24 Hours, What Happens Next is Shocking, Always Worked Like a Charm. These were perfect eye-grabbing thumbnails and titles that guaranteed people to click on the video. And with having TV studio-like quality, it definitely helped people to stick around and watch the whole thing. In 3 years, Dhar would already break over 4 million subscribers, one of the fastest rising channels ever. He went from posting weekly to now posting every single weekday, putting more and more focus and energy into the brand. And clearly it was working. New York Times deemed him the moral philosopher of YouTube. However, he had a pretty mixed reputation. His videos were getting tons of views, but lots of people saw his content as very cringy and corny.
This is basically Power Rangers on YouTube, but with moral message in real life. But what Dhar Mann did was he actually hired actors, even though they were great actors. It's just the lines and the writing just really threw it off for a lot of people. And I can agree with some aspects that the videos that he be putting out every week, every year were really cringe-worthy, and the acting is pretty bad though. Like, come on.
And generic messages. It wasn't really that revelating. It felt like those very cheap programs that they would show in school to tell kids not to bully each other.
Like Power Rangers, for example.
Stock of reaction channels that would laugh constantly at all of his corny content. However, it's not like Dhar wasn't aware of this. It was almost his intention. Older people were not really the audience. It was young kids that were really being captivated by this content.
That's how it is nowadays, though.
Of him. It was simple, digestible, and inspired wholesomeness. Dhar took this criticism in good faith and even had people that were roasting him be featured on the skits. Considering how well his channel was doing, I don't think he cared about a couple people making fun of him. But most of all, Dhar felt he was making a difference. He wasn't just telling stories, he was changing lives. Dhar Mann was finally achieving his goal to become rich and successful. And now he was doing it through his passion. Before he knew it, he broke over 20 million subscribers on YouTube. And he started
that's crazy work though.
Podcast where he featured giant creators like Mr. Beast.
Speaking of Mr. Beast, a lot recently because of his friend, because of his past inappropriate behavior with a minor And Mr. Beast, he pretty much knew about it the entire time. Not only that, but if you watch some of his past videos, you're gonna see some disturbing backgrounds in his room before he got really big on YouTube. Like, I don't know how you're gonna get or come back from all of this shenanigans. And I don't even like influencers, to be honest with you, because I think they're just a bunch of viral celebrities that be going viral just to flex on people for dancing on TikTok and doing some weird suggestors on social media just to get clout. I'm not a fan of those people.
February 6, 2023, when tons of actors were protesting outside of Dhar Mann Studios. What the hell was going on? One of the actors took to TikTok that they were protesting because the actors were not being paid fairly. Now, to give some explanation, the actors were not necessarily employees, they were independent contractors. They only get called in when they're needed. And since they're not employees, they don't really receive the benefits of being an employee, such as a salary. When Dhar Mann Studios was just starting, they were completely fine with this at first because there wasn't really that much money being involved. But now that the brand had become much more profitable, it seemed like it was affordable to pay them more. And every single actor was struggling to pay rent while Dhar was making millions.
As an actor at Dhar Mann Studios,
I am just
a contract player. I have no employment there. I am just sort of called every now and then, as are all the other actors. And it just is not sustainable. And there are a lot of issues at hand here, but one of the main issues is that not a single actor that works at Dhar Mann Studios can afford rent.
So, all the actors requested a meeting with Dhar Mann so that they can address their concerns. But when the meeting came about, the head of production and HR were present, but Dhar Mann was not. The actors specifically wanted to meet with Dhar so that they can directly address their concerns, and they were not going to have the meeting until that was met.
The trouble is, there's a culture at the studio of if you talk, you're out. So we decided to come together as a group and talk collectively with our boss, Dhar Mann. We sent a letter to him, a hard copy and an email. The email was CC'd to the head of production as well, so that we made sure that Dhar got it, but it was addressed to Dhar. It was delivered to Dhar. That letter was forwarded to the HR department, which we are not employees of Dhar Mann Studios, we are contract players. So exactly what we have to do with HR, we're not entirely sure, but it was forwarded over there. We were contacted, said we could have a meeting to discuss our issues. That meeting was pushed several times, changed on us. When we finally got to the meeting, we had reiterated that we wanted it to be with Dhar. Dhar was not there. And we said, well, we are not going to have the meeting until Dhar is here. You guys can be here, the head of production, the head of HR. That's great. We'd love for you to be there too, so everybody's on the same page. But our meeting is with our boss, the person who signs our contracts.
However, this was refused. So they all protested and refused to work until Dhar Mann heard their concerns. Regular actors who were in some of Dhar's most popular videos came forward one by one describing their on-set. One of the main was being a very, very toxic work environment. If you spoke up, you were kicked out. And the work culture became so bad, one of the actors, Brianna Walker, had a very, very serious health condition that caused her body to swell and put her life at risk at certain times. The work culture was so bad that one time when she experienced a reaction, she tried to hide it because she was afraid that her job would be put at risk. However, she wasn't able to hide it anymore and did receive medical attention. This did shut down production temporarily, but she was assured that her job would not be affected by it. However, after the event, she was never called back again, and was never given a reason as to why. So, it's only left with one conclusion.
First off, the whole production team knew that I had a medical condition to where my face swells up, I get hives all over my body, my tongue swells up, and my lips swell up, where I have to use an EpiPen or be rushed to the hospital. Without this, I can die. I even take daily medication because of this. So for the shoot, I had a bad allergic reaction. So when I came to set, the director noticed that I was a little off. Everything was off about me. I was not feeling too well, but I still wanted to work because I knew what could happen to me if I didn't finish these scenes. I felt that I was going to be fired, and I told them that, and I was crying and everything, and Shantae told me that, oh, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be okay. He isn't going to fire you or anything. But after that, I was never hired back again.
Another actress.
What's even more disturbing about that is that any director in Hollywood should know these type of conditions and the situations with these actors. But instead, they would rather just focus on them continuing to work despite them dealing with some health issues and their safety issues and whatnot. That girl could have died because of Dhar Mann. And the biggest thing that really is very disheartening the most is the fact that the director, he actually was the selfish one. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, oh, nothing's gonna happen to you, you're gonna be fine. Then why did she get fired then? Why did she lose her job at a young age? So basically, you not only hire these actors, but now I feel like you're just playing with their lives. You can't be doing
where she agreed to do a Halloween TikTok for Dhar's page, and that video would consist of Dhar chasing her around with a knife. Now, you'd think that this would be a fake prop knife, but it wasn't. The event was so traumatic for Jaslyn that she left the studio in emotional distress.
I was doing a TikTok video with Dhar, and it was around Halloween time.
Oh yeah, I heard about her. I think she lied about this whole thing too. So I kind of find it hard to believe her on this. Maybe, I'm not sure, but one thing's for sure, like, if you're gonna lie about something like that about Dhar Mann, you better come with receipts and actual facts instead of you making videos on it, because there are other actors that actually experience toxic environment in Hollywood and they're no longer working with Dhar Mann because of that. So either it happened to you or it didn't. Which one?
Security guard on set, and Dhar was asking what weapon should I use. I was assuming that it was going to be a not real weapon, a prop weapon. But he turns to the security guard gives him a real knife and points the knife at me. I said I was unsafe. I had to reiterate that I felt unsafe doing this. I then proceeded to run out of the studio crying. I had a complete meltdown.
Jaslyn never received an apology from Dhar Mann himself, but from the head of production. And to make up for this, they promised that they would have assistant directors on set, but this was never delivered. All of these stories coming about, people were starting to question the authenticity of Dhar and his brand. It wasn't looking good for him. Hashtag protest Dhar Mann was getting millions and millions of reposts. And he was posting a lot less on his channel because of the delay in production. The allegations were not addressed by Dhar himself, but on the Dhar Mann Studio Instagram page, where they responded to every single accusation. They claim that when the actors set up the meeting to talk to Dhar, that they actually did not really require Dhar to be there, they just simply requested it, making it seem like as if it wasn't really necessary. When the meeting happened and Dhar was not present, the actors refused to dispute their claims and then just angrily left the meeting after a couple minutes. They denied the fact they don't pay their actors, and they're actually extremely quick to do so. Dhar even said himself that main actors get $33 to $44 an hour, while extras get $18 an hour. However,
That's crazy.
It doesn't really seem to address what some of the actors are talking about. If they are being paid well, then why can't they afford rent or other basic necessities? They don't want money to afford a Lambo, they just want basic shit. Are the actors just being greedy and put the blame on Dhar? You could argue that the actors can just simply choose not to work with Dhar if they feel like these are not fair conditions. After all, no one's forcing them to sign a contract with him. They can just choose not to work with him. Having actors as independent contractors is a very, very standard protocol in the entertainment industry. So it's not like this is anything new. But the actors who worked with Dhar Mann saw it more than a job. They saw it as family. They felt like they were making a real difference with their work. And they were happy at first to not accept a lot of money for it. But now it's made so much profit. So it felt reasonable to simply request the basic necessities of being an employee so that they can dedicate more time to it. Considering Dhar Mann dropped $15 million on a mansion in Calabasas that was previously owned by Khloe Kardashian, it's pretty safe to say that he can afford to pay his employees a little more. Now, many of the other actors actually spoke against the protesting ones and claimed that they had amazing experiences working with Dhar Mann. Dhar's most frequent actor, Catherine Norland, had nothing but praise for Dhar Mann, claiming that being an actor for the Dhar Mann Studios actually was the redeeming factor. So she's basically kissing up to him. Career. And every year that she was working on set, she received a raise every single time.
Yeah. It's funny because I used to love her character in every Dhar Mann's videos, but after seeing her actress make a video like this, I quickly lose respect altogether. Like, miss, there are talented actors that were in Dhar Mann's videos that lost their jobs because he wasn't treating them fairly or respecting his employees. You hire these people to do one thing, which is act. And if they can put on a good acting performances, why can't you just pay these actors the same amount of money that you were getting paid from? And now that you think about it, this is exactly like how Saban was with Power Rangers, when Amy Jo Johnson was the best actress on the show, and she got paid more than the other actors. And when you think about it, the whole cast and crew were paid horribly during the original Saban days. And this Dhar Mann situation sounds exactly like that. So the fact that you're just kissing up to him, and I don't want to sound crazy when I'm saying this stuff, but you sound kind of privileged, to be honest.
A great place to work. And I am not being paid to say this. The studio, not even Dhar Mann, knows that I'm making this video. My point of view, I've seen kindness and generosity.
Cap.
I see them putting out these beautiful messages. This is my experience. Most of you have already heard the other side from the actors who aren't happy. I think there's so many speaking up for that, and I don't see anyone speaking up in favor for Dhar in the studio, and I think it's because it's scary. It's scary to have your voice.
You ever notice that one eye is gray and one eye is brown? Is there something that I need to know what's going on in the industry?
Hearing. I've been thinking about doing this video for days, but honestly, I was too chicken. I was too chicken to be like, oh, the other actors are gonna hate me now. But when I've been seeing what they've been putting out, it was just grieving me. I've been sitting here weeping. So upset about this whole situation.
Other actors also said very similar things.
And in my eyes of what I've seen, he's been a good guy. To me, and I'm not saying, oh, you're like this Uncle Tom, don't, no. I'm just saying from my point of view, from my vantage point, that's how I've been seen, and that's how I've been treated.
So I've only worked for Dhar Mann for a little bit over 2 years, but my experience with them has always been amazing. Working on set at Dhar Mann Studios is so fun. I've never felt uncomfortable, bullied, unsafe.
Yeah, it may be amazing right now,
truly,
but
I enjoy it so much.
Personally,
later on down the line, you're going to end up regretting working for him.
I love the cast and crew, and I have never had an issue with being paid. Dhar Mann Studios has opened up so many doors for me, and one of my first ever real acting jobs was with Dhar Mann. When you're in the industry and when you're an actor, you take jobs from several different companies, unless you have a contract.
One of the actors, Giovanna, left the protest after she felt like it was getting way too out of hand.
There are people who are saying that Dhar Mann doesn't pay. I disagree wholeheartedly with that. That is not true. That has never been true for me. I've always been paid, and within like 24 to 48 hours. It is not right that the whole ship sinks because one bad apple wants revenge.
However, a lot of the people felt that what they were saying wasn't very sincere and was just another one of their very unconvincing acting performances. So why stick up for Dhar? Possibly to seize the opportunity of sucking up to a powerful, rich man who can give them all of the opportunities that they want. This gig could be way too good to give up if you are a desperate actor, even if you are not treated well. It's better than nothing. And seeing how many...
And wasn't I just saying that a few seconds ago? All the other actors were treated horribly, paid terribly, and they quit acting for a while. And you get other actors that are quote-unquote good actors that are defending Dhar Mann as if they get paid way more because of how good the actings were. So this doesn't make any sense. And I'm so glad that he acted that, because a lot of people saw their videos and I felt the exact same way, how they're being very disingenuous about a person who's supposed to pay you with that much money, because you're in Hollywood and you're in an acting gig. You're acting on YouTube of all platforms in a very cringy show. And they sometimes put out movies and everything, but I don't care. It's the fact that you show lack of respect for your actors and you're not paying them a lot of money. So I can see why they went and protest in front of Dhar Mann. I know why they did that. Because if you're not going to pay these actors, why even hire them in the first place?
it. But it also could come from a place of sincerity. Maybe they didn't feel entitled to higher pay and just simply were grateful to be part of the project. Dhar was providing some very decent counter-arguments to all of these claims. But some shady stuff happened that changed this a little bit as well. Some of the actors posted very eerie videos retracting their claims of being on set.
I would like to make the following correction to the video I personally removed, posted on my TikTok on February 10th. Mr. Mann did not put a dog in a shoebox and then try to cover it up.
Mr. Mann did not point or pull on me on set.
Yeah, what I tell you. What I tell you.
That wasn't previously discussed.
The way they're talking, it's like they're being held at gunpoint. So what is going on? Well, apparently Dhar sent these actors cease and desist letters to retract their claims and protect his reputation. But this wasn't just it.
That's stupid.
TikToker Noah Glenn Carter posted a video where he was reporting on all of the protests that were happening, which was soon taken down by Dhar Mann from a copyright claim.
Well, apparently Dhar Mann is not a fan of my coverage because he copyright claimed this video I did on him. And as you can see right here, the claim was made by Dhar Mann himself.
I didn't even know you can copyright claim a video on TikTok.
What a coward. Just because somebody is exposed to you and try to hold you accountable, you claim their stuff just because they don't like you. Or what you can do is take some accountability and learn, and learn from can't get it out. What you can do is learn from your mistakes and take responsibilities for your actions and stop getting offended when people call you out on it. But instead, you just copyright their videos when they do videos on you. You're a coward.
Claim a video that was just simply describing the protests that were happening. It's not like he was stealing Dhar's videos. Now, the protesting actors decided to completely leave Dhar Mann Studios for good and make their own channel and post their own content on there. They posted an Indiegogo campaign for $10,000 to raise money for the channel. However, when one of the actors posted this campaign on TikTok, her video was taken down from a copyright claim by Dhar Mann. This is even weirder. Trying to prevent ex-actors from promoting their own stuff is very, very shady work. It doesn't look good no matter what the context is. However, they would raise more than enough needed money and start posting content on their channel regularly. The last time that this would ever be addressed on Dhar Mann's side was when he posted himself with all of the actors that were on his side.
Just to protect his reputation.
And after that, it was never really
too late.
talked about again from anyone. But this still left many questions left unanswered. Who was telling the truth? Were the actors making reasonable complaints and exposing Dhar Mann for who he is, or were they simply just being greedy and ungrateful for the opportunity that he gave them? It's really hard to say. Everywhere that Dhar Mann goes, trouble seems to follow him. Anytime he opened a business, it was never closed on good terms. It always seems like he tried to take shortcuts to get to the top and didn't really need to abide by the rules. Maybe it's because he was taught this by his parents. Maybe it's because all of his businesses were subsidized by his wealthy parents. Or maybe it's just who he is. The protests really started to expose Dhar for who he truly might be and also revealed a lot of his shady past. Did he really learn some lessons the hard way, or was he simply just pulling another get-rich-quick scheme? The protests essentially did nothing for his channel, and he's been getting millions and millions of views still every single day. It's like,
let me just say this though, at the end of the day, I still don't like Dhar Mann or some of his actors that are defending him because of what happened. And I believe most of these actors, when they say that they were treated horribly, and the young actress, the black girl, I forgot her name, but I don't care. But she pretty much just told her horrific story about her almost dying because she had an allergic reaction, and nobody from the staff, the medical staff, rushed to her aid or care about the safeties of these actors. And that last clip that you just saw was them pretty much lying about what happened. And it was talked about after they made their first video a while back. So it really goes to show you that Hollywood is one evil place. You were hired to play a character on TV and a movie, even if you're a good actor. But it's the fact that you were not paid the amount of money that you were put in certain scenes or whatever. Whether it was cheesy or not, good actors can always make it mean something. You know what I'm saying? But it's the director's actions that is causing these actors to not want to be in the entertainment industry anymore if you're not going to respect your employees as much as they've been respecting you. So at the end of the day, I still don't like Dhar Mann, not anymore after what happened. So link to the original video and shout out to this content creator will be down below.